That's why he's always wrong. That guy just telling me he was wrong the other night.
Like that. Worldwide takeover, Times Square takeover, the takeover, New York takeover. Man, you just put anything with takeover.
Man, we're doing great. Getting ready for this fight on May 2nd, and I can't wait, man. It's been a long time due, and we're gonna show up and show the world what we made of.
Yeah, this is my favorite type of workout. Part of training.
Why's that?
Fundamentals. Bring back the basics. Basics are everything. Alignment with the feet and the hands. Position.
Inside their training camps, the days blurred together for Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez as hard sparring, road work, and repetition shaped their preparation.
Champ got razor blades in them goddamn gloves. We gonna be switching on his ass. Woo! It's gonna be ugly.
I think he's gonna go in and be patient and handle his business. I mean, compared to Shakur, I mean, he's just a masterpiece at his work. So I feel like he's gonna go and pick him apart and take him down.
Long before fight night lights are switched on, Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez are already deep into the work, living days that revolve entirely around boxing.
Yo, can I ask you something?
What?
Do you blame him?
Nah, hell no. That was smart. That was smart. I know what I'm gonna do next time though. I'm gonna punch it. I got you. Look. When he start doing this, I'm gonna punch that shit right here, his elbow.
And I got a family to take care. They depend on me. And I'm gonna get to this bag and make sure it works.
The noise comes easily in boxing. Slogans, predictions, promises of domination, words layered on top of one another until meaning thins out. But beneath the talk, there is a quieter truth. Preparation is not loud. It does not announce itself. It repeats. It corrects. It waits. As May 2nd approaches, confidence exists, but it is measured. There is no sense of spectacle here, only the recognition that this moment has been a long time coming. What matters now is not branding or bravado, but whether the work holds when the lights come on. Inside both camps, time begins to lose definition. Days blur together under the weight of repetition, sparring rounds, road work before sunrise, fundamentals revisited again and again. Foot placement, hand position, balance, the basics that never stop demanding respect. There is comfort in returning to them, a belief that nothing lasting is built without alignment. Long before fight night, Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez are already living inside the fight. Their routines narrow, their worlds shrink, everything outside the gym becomes secondary. There are moments of tension, flashes of irritation, brief exchanges where frustration surfaces and is quickly swallowed back down. No one here is confused about what is at stake. Families depend on this. Futures are tied to it. There is no room for hesitation. For Stevenson, camp unfolds quietly. Early mornings pass inside the ring, where sound is reduced to breath, footwork, and the sharp snap of gloves. Corrections are brief. Instruction is precise. Between rounds, he listens more than he speaks, absorbing what's said without argument, carrying it back into the next exchange. There is no urgency to prove anything in these moments, only a commitment to refinement. Physically, he feels restored. The hand has healed. The rhythm has returned. Mentally, the vision has not changed. If anything, it has sharpened. Distractions exist, but they are treated as fuel, not focus. The work remains the same. Those closest to him describe a discipline that simplifies their job. A fighter who follows instructions, then goes further on his own. Someone who understands that mastery is not about flash, but about consistency. About doing the same thing correctly when no one is watching. Training alongside Terence Crawford adds another layer. Not through speeches or dominance, but through example. Crawford does not posture. He observes. He offers knowledge without insisting on it. Stevenson listens. Even when he disagrees, he listens. There is an understanding between them that growth requires humility, that believing you already know everything is where progress ends. In these gyms, greatness does not announce itself. It accumulates quietly, through repetition, restraint, and the willingness to sit with discomfort. What remains unspoken often matters more than what is said. And as the days count down, both fighters carry not just expectation, but the psychological cost of everything that brought them here. In the gym, instruction comes in fragments, short phrases, precise movements, moments that pass quickly but leave a mark. He listens closely, not because he always agrees, but because understanding matters more than ego. Even when the message doesn't fully align with how he feels in that moment, he stays open to it. There is an awareness that progress depends on restraint, the ability to absorb, not react. Corrections are practical, almost quiet. Step here, shift there, stay just outside the danger. The lesson isn't about force, but about position, about denying options before they appear. Over time, these details accumulate. He takes what he needs, stores it, reshapes it, and brings it back when it matters. Those around him describe it as absorption, like a sponge pulling in knowledge from every direction, refining it into something personal and effective. There is no illusion of having arrived. The belief is simple: the moment you think you know everything is the moment growth stops. Staying a student is not humility for show, it is survival. Boxing has a way of exposing certainty. Only those willing to keep learning tend to last. Those who have watched Shakur Stevenson closely speak about his skill in careful terms. Not exaggerated, not loud, just honest. The ability is there, the discipline is there, the sense that, given time, there may be very few answers for what he brings into the ring. That understanding stretches back years. Wally Moses remembers a child who didn't need to be pushed toward boxing, only allowed into it. Long before formal training, the interest was already there, watching fights, mimicking movement, throwing punches at the air in front of a television screen. By the time Stevenson walked into a gym at 5 years old, he wasn't discovering boxing. He was continuing something that had already begun. Family has always been close, present, watching, supporting quietly from the edges of the room as the work unfolded. The path forward was never framed as spectacle, only as commitment. Across town, the atmosphere shifts. Teofimo Lopez's camp carries a different rhythm. Music fills the space. Movement is explosive. Energy moves outward instead of inward. But the work is no less serious. Speed, power, aggression, all sharpened through repetition. Sparring days reveal the core of the environment. Fast rounds, physical exchanges, and constant reminders to stay composed under pressure. The contrast is clear, but the intention is the same. Both camps are built on routine, on sacrifice, on the understanding that success demands more than talent. It demands endurance, attention, and the willingness to live inside the work long before anyone else is watching. Nothing here feels accidental, and nothing feels easy. In the gym, movement is deliberate. Hands rise, feet shift, combinations unfold with precision. Yet what sets Teofimo Lopez apart is not just repetition or routine, it is the intensity he carries into every session. Long after the bells have rung and no fight looms on the horizon, he remains in the ring. Multiple sessions a day, pushing his body and mind. This discipline, honed over years and shaped by the experience of becoming a two-division world champion, has sharpened his speed, his strength, his instincts. Observers note the ease with which he moves, the rhythm in his footwork, the fluidity of his combinations. The effort is relentless, yet it feels natural, almost instinctive. There is a contagious energy in his presence, a tension between joy and purpose. Days are serious, but the work carries a spark, an almost playful engagement with the challenge of mastery. Even when he overwhelms sparring partners, the intent is not cruelty, but the relentless pursuit of testing limits, of uncovering what can be done under pressure. This is how the gym teaches, how it transforms a fighter, and how it shapes a character. Across town, Shakur Stevenson receives similar respect from those who have observed him at the highest levels. Terence Crawford describes him in quiet admiration, noting a skill often misunderstood. To some, Stevenson may appear reserved, even boring. Yet beneath that stillness lies precision, intelligence, and speed, an artistry in the ring reminiscent of Floyd Mayweather, once criticized in the same way. To the trained eye, Stevenson is extraordinary, disciplined, and singularly focused. Critics have long questioned both Stevenson and Lopez, suggesting avoidance of top competition, or questioning their willingness to confront danger. For Teddy Atlas, such narratives are outdated. Both fighters have consistently sought challenges, demonstrating growth, adaptability, and a readiness to test themselves against the very best. These are not the gestures of avoidance, they are deliberate choices, evidence of skill measured against risk, and of fighters willing to step into the arena when most would hesitate. The question of style lingers. Lopez is explosive, aggressive, instinctive. Stevenson is measured, defensive, precise. Whether the match will produce spectacle is uncertain. What is undeniable is the level at which both men operate, the rigor they demand of themselves, and the quiet seriousness with which they confront every round, every drill, every decision in the pursuit of excellence. Whether the fight produces spectacle is uncertain. What is clear is the level at which both men operate. This is not a meeting of hype or convenience, but of skill. Two fighters shaped by discipline, precision, and an understanding of boxing as a craft. At their best, they represent the sport in its purest form, the quiet intelligence of the sweet science. In his most recent performance, Shakur Stevenson revealed something many had demanded to see. He did not abandon his identity, but he expanded it. He pressed forward when necessary. He closed distance. He worked inside without hesitation. Still elusive, still composed, he showed he could apply pressure without losing control, making opponents miss, then making them pay, whether at range or in tight quarters. It was not reckless aggression, but intentional assertion. For those who questioned his competitiveness, the answer was there in plain sight. Not shouted, simply demonstrated. Those watching closely understood what they were witnessing. A fighter willing to add layers to his game without sacrificing discipline. A response not to critics, but to the demands of his own evolution. Stevenson has been careful to separate competition from personal conflict. Speaking openly, he has made it clear that there is no animosity toward Teofimo Lopez. Respect has always existed. Lopez's speed, power, athleticism, and durability are not questioned. If anything, they are what make this matchup necessary. While Lopez's public persona can divide opinion, Stevenson does not frame it as distraction. He views certain remarks not as insults, but as fuel, something to sharpen focus rather than cloud it. At the core, Stevenson sees Lopez as what he recognizes in himself, a driven athlete chasing something lasting, someone who wants to be measured honestly, not protected or dismissed. That understanding shapes the stakes of this fight. It is not simply about victory. It is about accountability, about testing preparation, patience, and judgment against someone capable of punishing mistakes. Making the fight required intention. Conversations happen quietly, first through intermediaries, then directly. When contact was made, there was no resistance, just professionalism. The weight decision followed the same logic. Stevenson did not view it as a permanent shift, but as a necessity. He understood the imbalance that would come from forcing an opponent downward. If the fight was to happen, responsibility meant meeting Lopez where he stood. In that choice, there is no bravado, only acceptance of risk. And with it, the understanding that legacy is not shaped by comfort, but by the moments a fighter chooses to step forward when staying put would be easier. The venue was a choice, but not a spectacle. When asked about locations, Las Vegas, New York, Stevenson chose New York. Not for attention, but for familiarity, for grounding, for the subtle gravity of place. Amir Khan has long recognized Stevenson's craft. To the casual observer, his style may seem understated, even boring. Yet to those who study the sport, his precision, his defense, his ability to read and adapt in real time reveal the essence of boxing. Every slip of a punch, every controlled distance, every calculated movement is a quiet demonstration of mastery. Khan notes that while Lopez embodies raw aggression and power, Stevenson embodies intelligence in motion, an elusive, almost surgical excellence that rarely draws headlines but commands respect. At the highest levels, slipping punches, dictating range, and anticipating an opponent's instincts are not stylistic quirks, they are survival, and they are artistry. Stevenson's victories, built on technique as much as physicality, illustrate that skill can be as compelling as spectacle, even if it is misunderstood by the untrained eye. This fight, then, is not a collision of chaos, but a meeting of minds and method. Lopez brings offense and unpredictability. Stevenson brings defensive acuity and composure. Observers like Lamont Roach emphasize that this is a contest defined by control and deliberate execution, not reckless engagement. Every movement, every adjustment, is a test, not just of power, but of preparation, patience, and intelligence. A win against Lopez carries more than a title. It carries recognition, leverage, and the unspoken authority to challenge the very top of the division. For Stevenson, this fight is both a measure and a statement, a demonstration of skill against someone who demands it, and a reminder that legacy is earned in the subtle calculus of the ring, not only in spectacle. Predictions are inevitable. Analysts and fans alike wonder who will have the edge. Stevenson's IQ may frustrate, his composure may dictate the pace. Lopez's speed and instinctive aggression will test every calculation. The outcome is uncertain. What is certain is that both fighters, shaped by countless hours of work, face a challenge that will reveal not just strength or skill, but the depth of their understanding of boxing itself.